Yeah, what's up, guys? Welcome to Week 16, Grade A Fantasy Week 16 FanDuel Slate Preview. And hey, man, let's get right into it. We got 3 more weeks of football left. First off, I just want to wish everybody happy holidays and Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate, enjoy it. Week 16, which means there's 3 weeks left in the football season. So let's get right into week 16. As always, let's get into week 16 as of who you are not going to be playing on. Once again, the Saturday slate. It's not Sunday. I'll get into that right now because Sunday has 3 games. The main slate for Saturday, because the NBA mainly has Christmas Day. Starting tomorrow, you won't have Jacksonville, the up and coming Jacksonville defense, which I also in one of my first episodes told y'all Jacksonville's going to improve this year. Jacksonville's at the Jets, so that means no Trevor Lawrence, no Zay Jones, no Evan Ingram, no Travis Etienne, no streaming Jets defense, and no Michael Carter, no Donovan Knight. You got no Garrett Wilson, and that's excluding players from the Thursday game. The Saturday night game, not Sunday night, but Saturday night, is Vegas and Steelers. So no streaming the Steelers defense for turnovers and J.J. Watt sacks. No Najee Harris on the Las Vegas side. Hey, he did pretty well for me for 5,000. I think he caught a touchdown. Not crazy in the yards, but he still produced something. So no Darren Waller, no returning Hunter Renfro, no Josh Jacobs, no David Carr, and most importantly, no Devontae Adams. And then for Sunday and Monday matchups, Green Bay and Miami. Miami's at home. You love to play at my home, so that means no Tua, no Jalen Waddle, no Tyreek Hill. Green Bay, you got, even though he's on the road, no Christian Watson. You don't got no Aaron Rodgers in the nice weather setup after having a solid win in cold weather. No Aaron Jones and no Corey Dillon. The Sunday afternoon game, 4:30 slot, goes to Denver, going to Los Angeles. Russ Wilson will return for this one because they purposely said they sat him for last week, so he'll return this week for this game. So that means no Russ Wilson, no Judy. There's still an injury status on. Oh man, I'm seeing this guy's face in my head, and I can't believe I can't say his name. Cortland Sutton. And no streaming the Denver defense and no Latavius Murray. And then on the other end, no Cam Akers, no Tutu Atwell. Hey, if Denver struggles on the road again, maybe you could have streamed the Rams defense. It could have been an interesting play, but they're not there. And then we got no Tampa Bay, because they're going to Arizona for the Christmas night game. So that means no Brady, no Godwin, no Evans, no Fournette, no Tampa Bay defense on Arizona's end. Their wide receiver core is out, and Colt McCoy is out. So Trace McSorley is actually going to be starting there. So do with that what you will. And then of course Monday night we will get, but we won't have on our slate, the Saturday slate, no Los Angeles Chargers. So that means no Eckler, no Herbert, no defense, no Mike Williams, no Keenan Allen, Eckler. Hopefully I said that. If I did, I said them twice. Don't matter. And Indianapolis is moving forward because Indianapolis benched. Excuse me. Indianapolis did bench Matt Ryan, so they go into former backup and Super Bowl champion Nick Foles for the rest of the season. And let's get into the slate. So, my theme is we will start with the position who has the highest rostered player, and the highest rostered player is Derrick Henry. So we could go even back and forth with that one because why is Derrick Henry one of my favorite plays against Houston? Houston has been improving. Yes, they have. But now they will be leaning on Derrick Henry more than ever. They're trying to make the playoffs. I think the Titans are on a 3 or 4 game losing streak. And they just got news that ankle injury that Ryan Tannehill suffered, Ryan Tannehill most likely is out for the season because there's like a pretty 70 to 85% chance that ankle injury needs surgery. He can't continue playing on that. And if they're going to make a playoff run, he's just going to make the ankle worse. And he's just at a point where he can't perform. So the ball is going to go to Henry for the last 3 weeks of the season. I'm just going to predict it. He's 9,800, but they need him to produce for the rest of the season. Now, yes, Houston has been playing well, but you can still run on Houston. So I'm just gonna do this real quick and just say his last. Well, I can't really see the. I need to do a little investigating here right quick and see what is the Titans. Most importantly, what are the Titans' last 3 games? Because I'm telling you right now, if he has a big game this week, Derrick Henry will guarantee be 10,000, no matter what the matchup. He's 98 right now. Fantasy purpose wise and the use he's gonna get, he's gonna get to 10 G's. He's gonna get 5 figures. So as I click on Tennessee here, a $9,800 Henry has probably his best matchup for the last 3 weeks of the season. Remember, they're trying to make a playoff push. They're 7-7. So they have the Texans. They have the Texans. They have the Cowboys. That's gonna be pretty tough. But they're still all three decent matchups. But he's pretty much bookended 2 very good matchups: Texans, Cowboys, and then against the Jaguars again. And if we look back at Henry, it was just 2 weeks ago that he faced the Jaguars, and I think they pretty much. I think the Jaguars. No, yeah, he that was the game that I commented on last week where he got all that work plus receptions. He still had 19 points. Could have had 23 point something, 24 point something, whatever the case is, but had the 2 fumbles. So best believe Derrick Henry will be trying to protect that ball. So I if I normally don't stay that long on a guy like that, but the fact that they're on a playoff run, he's definitely worth the 9,800. He's gonna get the opportunity, and he's literally bookended 2 good matchups. Houston, Dallas might gang up on him because every team just can't say, "Hey, we're gonna front seven." Like the O line is great, and Henry's still tough to take down. There's a lot of guys, there's a lot of defenses that try to stack the line and still can't take down Henry, and he's gonna get the attempts to get over 100 yards and maybe even 2 touchdowns. And like I said, they're throwing the ball to Henry more and more this year. There was a time that they never threw the ball to Henry. In the last 3 weeks, he's getting 2, 3, 3, 4, 2. And then he's getting them on these wide open screen passes. That's the thing. He's so tough to bring down. Yeah, you're probably looking at me and saying, wait, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. He doesn't even have 5 receptions. But guess what he's doing with 2, 3, 4 receptions? 59 yards, 44 yards, 8 yards against Philly, 79-45. So Derrick Henry's one of those guys. He doesn't need much out the backfield. Four targets out the backfield. That's all he gets, and that's what he normally gets. In the last 5 weeks, he got 4 targets, 5 targets, 3 targets, 3 targets, 2 targets. So I'm just letting you know now. Derrick Henry's going to be one of my favorite plays for the rest of the season, even against the Cowboys. Might not be as heavy on them when they play the Cowboys, but it'll definitely be one of my favorite plays. As we go down, well, to the next person, 9,400 Christian McCaffrey. He's rocking a Q tag with a knee. This is what this Q tag is. He didn't get hurt during the game. I think because of the extra workload now that he's getting hit, getting worn down. They're giving him the ball more to protect the young quarterback, so, Purdy. So, yeah, he's just dinged up. This is just regular season wear and tear. I think for the rest of the season they're just gonna balance his practice load and he should be fine. So 9,400, I wouldn't worry about it. Now if something were to happen, like I said, it's a shorter week, so we'll probably get more confirmation on that today. And that's another reason why I waited till Wednesday. I know I try to get my first look out Monday or Tuesday, but Saturday I wanted to get as much news as possible if anything were to come out. So yeah, you're looking at. I would still say you're comfortably looking at playing Mr. McCaffrey with no hesitation. Another tough matchup at 8,700. I think Dalvin Cook is good to go against the Giants, and then Saquon Barkley is right under him at 8,500. The reason why I like both running backs, I mean, like, look, man, New York is fighting for a playoff spot as well. But, like I said, Minnesota, I have said in the past, Minnesota is better at home. It's a defense that I trust better at home. Kind of like the Lions. But the Lions are playing better defense than Minnesota right now. So I still think Saquon is capable of busting out one or maybe a couple against Minnesota. So he's definitely worth a look. But I definitely like Dalvin Cook at home, 8,700 against the Giants. Ramondre Stevenson came back after looking like he wasn't really going to play and then had an outstanding game last week. But that ankle is still sore, so that's why he's rocking the Q tag. 8,300 at home, cold weather against Cincinnati. That should be a good one. And Nick Chubb is rocking the Q tag with a foot issue home against New Orleans. If he's healthy, he's definitely worth a play. That New Orleans defense is not what it used to be. Nick Chubb is looking real solid, and he's not even 8,000, 7,900, 7,900. So you're damn near saving 2,000 off Derrick Henry if you go Nick Chubb. And that's a very good match from home against New Orleans, very good matchup. We'll scroll down a little bit. You got Tony Pollard in a tough matchup. Well, not a tough matchup because Philly is definitely weaker run-wise than pass-wise. What makes up for it is that they're ahead a lot, so you got to pass against them. Tony Pollard, 7,700. But like I said, Tony Pollard, to me, is the better double threat, not to what Zeke used to be. Zeke used to catch those passes, but Tony Pollard is the more explosive. And, running backs at home, got to favor him. 7,700. Joe Mixon on the road at New England. That's a tough one. Alvin Kamara on the road, but it's one of the worst. People don't really focus on Cleveland like that, but they're definitely one of the worst rush defenses in the league. Alvin Kamara once again at 74. I think it's a good thing that yes, we were all on Kamara. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong, but understand how these DFS sites do their pricing. If Kamara would have scored one touchdown on top of the 21 carries and 92 yards, Alvin Kamara would have probably been 8,000 because he was 76 or 78 last week. The fact that he didn't get that touchdown, and they're also probably thinking, oh, Taysom Hill and which Taysom Hill did, took some opportunities, and Taysom Hill did launch a touchdown, which took away an opportunity from him. I think it's a good thing. It's another matchup. It's another matchup that you want to go to. Yes, he's on the road, but guess what? That run defense is not good. And understand this. Kamara got 21 rush attempts last week. So 7,400. So he's pretty much $300 cheaper than last week. Kamara, very good play. I like him this week. And then Pollard's partner Zeke, as I mentioned earlier, 7,400 at home. Hey, pick your poison. Jerick McKinnon in a prime spot against Seattle. Now, here's the reason why I say you shouldn't go heavy on Jerick McKinnon. Here's why. That was definitely game script, and it was a game situation in a way. So, I definitely had Pacheco last week in a few lineups. He still ended up running for 82 yards. Good game. Going against the worst rush defense. But the fumble. After the fumble was so bad that not only was he benched for the rest of the first half, he didn't start the second half, and they literally just ran McKinnon to the ground. Now, does McKinnon do that again against Seattle? There's a possibility, yeah. There is a possibility because they also were on the bottom 5 worst rush defense. But if Pacheco can hold on to the ball, McKinnon probably can have a decent game, but he just won't have that kind of game. So before you jump on McKinnon, and I'm a fan of Jerick McKinnon, McKinnon was an excellent back for Dalvin Cook for a couple of years before he signed his 49ers deal, had a knee injury. And then I remember the preseason game that I played him. He won me a little bit of money in the preseason slate because with the knee injury, people were trying to figure out like, hey, McKinnon's a good back. Does he still have it? Made the Chiefs a couple of years ago, and he's still there. So that's the story how Jerick McKinnon got to the Chiefs. But the thing with Pacheco was like they literally like McKinnon literally like stayed in the game, and it was like McKinnon's break was when they would play action, and then the ball wasn't going to McKinnon because he just literally ran the ball twice, and that's when Mahomes either scrambled, got it down the field, or whatever the case is. So they taught the rookie a lesson. They gave him some catch. They gave him some touches. He still ended up with 82 yards. I like McKinnon. I don't love McKinnon. Understand the game situation. This is not McKinnon's job. They will teach him, the rookie, a lesson. Because of the game that he had, McKinnon's up to 73. If it was your typical regular game, understanding FanDuel pricing the way it is, McKinnon still would have been in the high 6s, 67, 68, maybe even 66. All right? So take that for what you will. Like McKinnon, but I don't love McKinnon. So that means don't jam him 100%, even 80% in your lineup. Definitely still play Pacheco. Speaking of Pacheco, how far do they have him down? I'm scrolling and yeah. So if you want to play Pacheco, 6,700. Still, great discount. Better for Pacheco that he did get benched in the way. He's not even over 7,000 yet. We'll head back up. Montgomery 72 against Buffalo. Tough matchup, but Montgomery does it both ways, running and catching. Still no Khalil Herbert on IR. Miles Sanders will be looking for a bounce back, but it's going to be a tough run defense because Dallas is top 5 in the league in run defense. And Miles Sanders 7,100. J.K. Dobbins at 7 even, home against Atlanta. Kenneth Walker still nursing that ankle. He's questionable. But if he could play, he's definitely a good spot at 6,900. Yes, Seattle likes to throw the ball, but Pete Carroll still, they could throw the ball. Pete Carroll loves to run the ball. And what do you got to do against KC to control it? You got to run the ball. You got to run the ball. So Kenneth Walker is definitely another one of those under 7,000. That's looking like a good look. DeAndre Swift is now taking back his backfield. I definitely like him over Jamal Williams, even though Jamal Williams is the vulture. I will still stick with DeAndre Swift now. They're both together at 6,800, going against a bottom 10 run defense as they both go to Carolina. Other running backs that I like this week that I would like to talk about. Hey man, it's getting cold out there. It's getting to the end of the season. Maybe we want to take a little pressure off Josh Allen. This is where, and he normally does it the last 2 years. This is where they give Devin Singletary some catches and some carries. Him at Chicago, another bottom 5, bottom 6 run defense. Devin Singletary looking real nice at 64. Maybe after you pick your first 2 running backs and you know what you want at wide receiver, I think Devin Singletary looks like a pretty nice flex at 64. Other matchups that I like, there might be one more other running back that I kind of like here. It doesn't look so. No. Hey, I mean, if you want to take off Nick Chubb, I mean Kareem Hunt, because he runs and catches against New Orleans or whatever, once again at home, fifth all the way down to 5,600. Samaje Perine has officially carved the role. He's still getting touches and carries, but he's going against New England, which is a tough run defense. But Samaje catches the ball out the backfield. Maybe you like him for 5,500. I don't know. And I think that's it for running back for matchups that I like. Yeah, for matchups that I like, that's pretty much it. I mean, if you want to go extra contrarian, maybe if Buffalo's up big against Chicago, maybe James Cook gets in the end zone, vulture something. He gets some decent carries or whatever, but obviously it runs through Josh Allen and Josh Allen's legs and arm first before anybody. James Cook is 5,300, backing up Devin Singletary. And then, of course, you still got, like I said, you still got to go against Josh Allen in that case. Now, since we mentioned Josh Allen, let's segue into the QBs. See what I did there? YouTube Pro, baby. YouTube Pro. Don't mind me if you see me a little, distracted, having a little fun with tonight's hockey slate or whatever. I should check on a couple things real quick. That broke open a little bit. That Cameron Hawkins, White Johnson. That should be a good game. Things are looking okay. Nothing too crazy. Nothing to worry about. Nashville wins. That's good. You should saw this thing. Come on, Minnesota. Let's wake up. Let's wake up. Let's wake up, people. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let me take a look at this Vancouver game before we get back into the QBs. Nick Ritchie. And who scored for? The Miramonov kid. Yeah, I know I should have had him. That's alright. Still early. Okay, so let's get to the QBs. Oh man, yeah, I definitely started there. 11 o'clock right now. Let's get this going. Josh Allen, once again, number 1, 9,500 at Chicago. Mahomes, home against Seattle, 9,200. Here's what everybody says is going on. I don't think he plays. He had another DMP today. Jalen Hurts. He was actually the first lineup that I actually built, and that's when this whole thing with the shoulder popped up. So didn't practice again Wednesday. He is definitely trending on not practicing because if people are not practicing with 1 day less of rest, I think Jalen Hurts does not play at 8,700. So you can probably drop down a little bit to a hot Joe Burrow who's 600 less than him at 81 at New England. I don't think Lamar comes back to play this week. I think he sits one more. because he's back at question, but he's still not practicing. So I think they should just rule him out. I don't think he plays. I really don't think he plays. It's back up to questionable, but he's another DNP, and with a short turnaround, he's not playing. And it's not like it's a short turnaround with the late game. He's a short turnaround, like he's a short. Jalen Hurts at least is a short turnaround with a later game. Every hour counts when it comes to rest and recuperation and treatment. Lamar Jackson got to get out there, wake up early, and get ready for preparation and move that arm, and then he starts at 1 o'clock. So no, he's not playing. Justin Fields will definitely be trying to use his feet and arms to keep up with Josh Allen. It's a tough defensive match, but we've seen Justin Fields do things with his legs, and that can make up for the mistakes and interceptions with his arms. So Justin Fields is still a good player at 7,800. Kirk Cousins, I think he's a great player at home, 77. Cheap stack. You don't have the most expensive quarterback. Yes, you got Justin Jefferson, but starting with 77, I think Justin Jefferson is 9,500 this week. Let me click with the wide receivers right here. Justin Jefferson is 9,300. I said 95, so 9,300. So yeah, you're paying up, but like I said, having a mid sevens quarterback does help that stack. And then I think what was that? I just said Dalvin Cook is in the eighth. So I mean that's okay when you include Dalvin Cook, yeah. But if you do the typical quarterback with two wide receivers and with an Adam Thielen or something like that, that's definitely an affordable stack. Let's keep going down after Kirk Cousins and other people that I like. Like I said, I do like him at home, but it's a defense that I don't trust. I actually trust the line, and I've gotten that right. You've heard me get that right with the playing the line defense the last couple of weeks. Can they get caught up in a nice little shootout? Yes, Giants defense is a little primitive, but we're talking fantasy here. Daniel Jones can get out the pocket. The question is, does he protect the ball and don't turn it over? That's why you have a little faith in Minnesota at home. But Daniel Jones could be a cheap stack, cheap mini stack with him, Barkley, and one of those cheap wide receivers. Because ain't none of those wide receivers over $6,000. Without me looking at the wide receivers, none of them over $6,000. Let's take a look here. You got to keep with the hand. Jared Goff going against a mid-tier. They're on the road. I tell you, I prefer them on the at home, but Lions are hot, trying to make it to the playoffs. 1-6 now. They what 7-6 or 7-7. So they're going to Carolina, and Jared Goff is still barely over 7,000. He's right at 7,000. So he doesn't seem to get the. He's playing like a 75, or he should be play. He should be priced more than Daniel Jones. But like I said, fantasy Daniel Jones could possibly do what Jared Goff does with a better wide receiver core, but Daniel Jones does way more with his legs than Jared Goff, so I guess I could understand it. But for this week, I think Jared Goff should be at least priced up a little bit to the mid sevens and shouldn't be right at 7. Because right under him is a questionable Brock Purdy, home against Washington. That's in move for a cheap stack. Him, Ayuk, and he's throwing the ball constantly to McCaffrey. That could be in move for a cheap stack. Deshaun Watson trying to knock off as much rust as he can. He's home against New Orleans for 6,800. Hey, a lot of people now like him, but they're playing well, but they're not a lockdown defense. Let's not be real now. I mean, they're good to pick, but Sam Darnold's still a good pick at home against Detroit at 6,700. Him and DJ Moore. Come on, mini stack right there if you want to. Cheap mini stack and then go on with the rest of your wide receivers. And then after that, is there anybody else that I like? Okay, so big injury news. So like I said, I did mention it earlier. Ryan Tannehill against Houston. Now Houston does have to contend against Derrick Henry, but they're gonna have to rely on their backup QB. And I'm scrolling down. I'm scrolling way down. I am scrolling down. Where is he? I don't see him. I don't see his quarterback. The backup. I forgot the guy's name, but I have this pulled up right here. Ryan Tannehill, like I said, he's gonna need surgery, so they're gonna have to go to their backup. What is it? Malik Willis, I think that's his name. Yes, Malik Willis. So Malik Willis will be finishing the season as long as he doesn't get hurt. He'll be finishing the season for the rest of the year. If I look here, Malik Willis is all the way down to 6,600. So if you want to do that, hopefully he can hit him on some screen passes. Malik Willis is a bit mobile. You never know. You never know what that could open up. And also with that, we are looking at one more because, right, like I said, I don't think Jalen Hurts plays. This guy's capable because he started the league for a couple years. Hey man, if there's somebody that I would take a chance with, yes, it's a tough matchup, but if there's somebody that I would have fun, I'm gonna have fun building lineups with him. It will be Gardner Minshew. He can wing down the field, capable quarterback, and he's 6,100. You gotta try it. You just gotta try it. He's taking first team reps. He's gonna play, y'all. He's gonna play. He's gonna play. 6,100 Gardner Minshew has the arm to get it down the field. It's just a question of how many mistakes does he make, but his arm does not hinder the production of Smith or AJ Brown at all. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. And if they worry about Gardner Minshew, that means you bring up your predictions and on production of Miles Sanders. Let's get to the wideouts. Making some good time here. Sometimes I feel like I ramble on, but I'm still not even over a half hour yet, which is pretty good. Justin Jefferson, 9,300. Jamar Chase, 8,800 at New England. Stephon Diggs, 87 at Chicago. And that's where you like to see A.J. Brown. With a $6,100 quarterback, you could actually double stack him and Smith together. 8,500. And where is Smith? Smith is probably not too far. There you go. Devontae Smith is 7,600. So that's a doable stack. That is definitely a doable stack. Might have to pay down on defense to fit in whatever else you want. But that's a doable stack. Gardner Minshew has that upside to do that. Amon-Ra St. Brown looking for another bounce back game. Definitely going against a bottom 12 pass defense in Carolina. And Carolina definitely one of those that is susceptible to the deep ball. Now, the deep ball in the Lions offense, if you've seen, is probably fits more to DJ Shark because he definitely gets the more deeper throws, 10, 15 yards down the field. Amon-Ra is definitely the more elusive route runner. He can get downfield, but as you can see, if you've been watching the Lions game, Goff will eye him down and wait till he at least gets off and makes his cuts through from one side to the other, especially when he's making those deep slants. Amon-Ra St. Brown will be running free at Carolina for 8,400. Now, Lockett has a broken finger, so one of my favorite plays this week is definitely DJ Metcalf for 8,000. The reason why I like DJ Metcalf, some people say like, oh well, yeah, when somebody gets hurt, you're gonna like the other guy. No, it's the opportunity it's the opportunity. So yes, DJ Metcalf can go deep sometimes, but he's more the short route runner, maybe deep slant. The big boom guy would be Tyler Lockett because he's the one that can literally get 3 to 5 catches and have 170, anywhere from 89 to 172 yards and 2 touchdowns. 3 of those long bombs will be 2 catches. He's been doing it for years with Russell. He's been doing it with Geno this year as well. I think, here's an educated guess, because they do send him deep, but I think they're going to send him deep more. DK Metcalf is going to be all over the field, catching button hook passes, quick slants, and deep routes. I'm going to make a prediction here. Even though Pete Carroll likes to run. But without even looking at his targets, I think Metcalf gets a range of 12 to 15 targets. And I don't even think he has a game like that. I'm just going to take a guess here, and I'm going to click on FanDuel right now, and I'm going to see if I got that right. But he needs 10 to 12, maybe 15 targets. And out of that 10 to 12, let's say he gets 15 targets, I think Geno should be throwing that ball deep to him at least 4 times. I said 12 to 15 targets. DK Metcalf, I said 12 to 15 targets. He only has 2 games in that range all season. Obviously, Metcalf is here. Week 3 against Atlanta had 12 targets, 5 for 64 and a touchdown. Sorry. Oh, crap. Sorry about that. Accidentally clicked something else. Just want to get a little more in depth on why, because like I said, he does get the targets, but now that target share against semi porous, they're susceptible to the pass. They're always up, so they should be able. But DK Metcalf should be able to take advantage of them. And then against Los Angeles a couple weeks ago, that game that went crazy, he had 15 targets, but went for 11 for 90, but no touchdowns that week. Every other week is 9 targets, 10 targets, 8, 9, 6, 2. oh, he has another. Well, I said 12 to 15. He only has two of those. He has another 10, and then it has 2, 7, 8, and then the 6 and the 7. This DK Metcalf is all over the place. Short slants, button hooks. I think the only thing he doesn't do, he's a little too athletic for that because they know they need him downfield, using his strength to push on people. He doesn't do those wide receiver screens. He's not catching the ball around or behind the line of scrimmage. DK Metcalf is worth every flipping penny. 8,000 and he's getting every route. Forget the fact that, oh, that guy's not over there. No. It's the opportunity and the more routes that DK Metcalf is going to run, which brings opportunity, which brings more targets. DK Metcalf literally has a floor of 12, a floor range of 12 to 17, but he could definitely boom for 20 plus with all the opportunities. With all the looks that he could possibly get, Metcalf, even if he doesn't score a touchdown, can still probably get you 18, like have like an 18.9 day. And he has those kind of days. At Detroit, 10 targets, 7 receptions, 149 yards, no touchdowns, but 18.4 points. It doesn't show what his salary was that week, but I'm just letting you know. He can still. Now, of course, for 8,000, that's the range where like, yo, I need the stats, but I need the stats and a touchdown. That's that range. Like, once you get into like that 7,073, and then you go up, this ain't the 7,000 or lower where you're like, okay, like Chris Moore did last week for me, the week before, where he got like 9 for like a little bit over 100, no touchdowns, but yet he did, because of all the receptions and the opportunity, the man still ended up with like a 17 or 18.3. That's the kind of game that DK Metcalf can feel comfortable with. DK Metcalf, because even if he doesn't get the touchdown, he can still get you a 20-point game. Just want to be precise on that. Just because he doesn't get a touchdown doesn't mean he flop. He's gonna get the opportunity to match. Without the touchdown, you can't boom. You can't boom your side without a touchdown. But he'll be worth the 8,000. Definitely. T. Higgins doesn't carry injury designation no more. But like I said, tough New England matchup on the road, 77,000. Like I said, I spoke about Devontae Smith earlier. Juju Smith-Schuster getting a lot of targets. He seems to be the alpha dog after, well, the alpha of the wide receiver core after their star tight end. Their star tight end, Travis Kelce, he's 7,300. Once again, DJ Moore, home against Detroit. I mentioned that earlier. He should have a fine game. He's at 7,100. And let's see here. We'll keep going down. What other matchup do I like? I like Adam Thielen again at home against the Giants, 6,600. Brandon Ayuk, 6,800, home against Washington. They still don't have their best pass. Washington still doesn't have their best pass rusher, so he's still thinking about making his return. He's still not healthy. I told you, Washington needs. Oh crap! What the hell is his name? Crap! I spoke about him so much earlier, and I don't even bring it up anymore. Like, it's taking him so long to get back. But Washington is still hurting for pass rushing, so I like Kirk. I like the young kid Purdy to have time to get into his man Ayuk. Ever since Garoppolo's injury, and then of course on top of that, it's Debo's injury. Ayuk has just been doing his thing. I mean, in the last 3 weeks, 9 targets, 3 targets, 4 targets, has a touchdown. That's about damn near 140, 130 something yards, 7.1 and 12.7 and 9 points. And then before that, he was already in the flow, 15, 9.4, 17 and 11. So he was in the flow of the offense. Yes, they will be protecting him. Yes, they will be protecting the quarterback, not throwing too much. But like I said, Ayuk is a nice play. Amari Cooper, solid play at 67, I think. And his man Donovan Peoples-Jones on the other side, 6,500. Like I said, home against New Orleans, not a good defense. Tyler Boyd, healthy, no injury designation, 6,500. Brandon Cooks will be healthy for the first time in weeks, so that puts a little dent in Chris Moore. Brandon Cooks, FanDuel did not drop it too much. They know his talent. They did not drop it too much. 6,500. For the first time in weeks, was a full participant in practice. So Brandon Cooks will be ready to go. 6,500 against Tennessee. Very, very nice matchup. Gabe Davis hasn't really done much. but he's always a threat. Like I said, in fantasy, if you get him right in one of your lineups, if you're playing like a 20 max, you got it. If you're playing like a 20 max or something like that, like I'm not getting to him in the 3 max or single entry, but you're playing a 20 max, you got to get the Gabe Davis, and especially in Josh Allen stacks. He's cheap enough to have Josh Allen, Diggs, and then him. Like I said, Chris Moore takes a little dent. He's now 6,100. Like I said, that's a good pass defense. Limited in practice. Been doing a lot sometimes. When you see people get that extra workload, their body just a little sore. But he's a limited participant with the foot. But I think he should be fine. I think everything should be okay with him. Same thing with Nico Collins. He's been taking a lot of reps or whatever. Right now, if things work out that way, it's still looking like Chris Moore will now be down to number 2. Nico Collins he started with light workouts on the side, but he still didn't practice. He didn't engage with the team. So it looks like Nico Collins is out. If Nico Collins is out, then you're looking at Brandon Cooks and Chris Moore together as a dynamic tag team. I really hope this is just a little ding up or whatever the case is, but Marquise Goodwin's in a nice spot because he'll be taking over for Lockett. But he did practice on a limited basis because he's dealing with 2 injuries. The reason why he's rocking a Q tag, he's questionable with a wrist, he's questionable with an ankle. He needs to be there to take up Lockett, and Goodwin can go down the field. But let's be real, like I said, Lockett out, DK Metcalf is going to do everything while Goodwin is the short slant guy. That's what's going to happen. And then maybe you might want to look at, we'll talk about some of Seattle's wide receivers as well. The Seattle's definitely in a good spot with going against Kansas City because, like I said, they could run the ball even more. And if they run the ball even more, that means when you run the ball, the passing will be more concentrated. Yes, Noah Fant and Disley, the tight end, we'll get to that in the tight end section. We'll get some looks, but you're definitely going to be looking at a more concentrated. Goodwin's going to get opportunities, but if they can get the run game going and concentrate on DK Metcalf, I'm really talking it up. It's definitely one of those lineups I'm going to be building a lot. I'm going to get to different combinations of that. Other wide receiver matchups that I like. Hey man, the deep threat I did mention, DJ Chalk, still 5,700. At Carolina, Valdez Scantling against Kansas City, he's also 5,700. Is there anything else? No, not really. Not that I really want to get to that's interesting down here. Oh, Duvernay's out with a foot. So we all know that, Lamar, in or not, wide receiver's pretty thin at in Baltimore. So if you're interested, if you want to take a shot, they did pick up Sammy Watkins off waivers, just to let you know. Duvernay is on IR, out for the rest of the year. Sammy Watkins is now a Raven, so that gives another deep threat to for Lamar, but I don't think he's going to be playing this week, especially claiming somebody on a short week. Watkins, yeah, he was waived Monday. And then he got picked up by the Ravens. Yeah, he got waived Monday and then got picked up yesterday. So as you can see, what's been happening when people get picked up, they normally don't play in the same week. Maybe a couple might get dressed, but they still don't play. But take a little note here because I just typed them in and that's just basic news I'm giving y'all. But obviously, they don't think Sammy Watkins going to play because Watkins is not in the player pool. But just giving you a future notice. Hey, Sammy Watkins is still got some gas in the tank. Wide receiver is something that I've been saying that the Ravens don't have. So they're going for Sammy Watkins. So that says something. Let's round this up with tight ends and defense. Oh, man. Yeah. I'm still in the same schedule. Let's see, 50. Let's see if I can wrap this up in 50 minutes. Tight ends normally go pretty quick anyway. We're at the 39-minute mark now. And tight end. Okay, number 1 tight end, as usual, Travis Kelce. I've done this rodeo a whole bunch of times. Look at the price discrepancy. Normally when you see that, you don't have to get to Kelce. it seems like when that price discrepancy is like that, it seems those are the weeks to leave Kelsey alone. But like I said, do it at your own risk. I'm not saying that's a foolproof plan either. Kelsey, 8,600. Once again, last week the difference was 1,500. I remember my own notes, but I even have to watch my show 20 times. I do it once, maybe look at. I do the show once, maybe look at it once. Last week, 1,500 difference. This week is a 1,600 difference. Travis Kelsey is 8,600. The next guy is 7,000 George Kittle. I'm sorry, I just can't do it with George Kittle. Not only is he probably the best all around tight end, but they're really using his blocking skills as an extra guy to protect Purdy. Because I don't think after Purdy, they don't really have anything else. They can't afford Purdy to get hurt. Can't afford for Purdy to get hurt. So I'm sorry. I love Kittle as a player. But fantasy wise, you're not getting fantasy points. Yeah, he might get the goal line catch or whatever, or maybe do a couple things. But I would feel more comfortable if Kittle dropped to like six to the low sixes, and he's not going to take a drastic drop like that anytime soon. 7,000, to me, he's just unplayable. Lovely player. Love him. All around, hands, toughness, everything. One of the few tight ends that can do it all well. Run block, pass block, and catch. Great route runner. But they're just not giving him the opportunities. And before I go down to Taysom Hill at 6,500, who's 500 cheaper, I mean, yes, 23.3 last week. Like I said, he'll get those goal line opportunities. 4 for 93, caught some deep passes, got some good route running, 2 touchdowns. You're like, oh, did you see it last week? What I'm telling you is, did you see Kittle the 4 weeks before that? Without the stats, he went from 23.3 just this past Sunday, right? 4.8, 3.2, 4.1. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. If he does it consistently again, that means he's probably him and Purdy probably, and Shanahan sees something where he can have Purdy and him hook up in certain situations. But until then, for me, he would not be in any of my lineups, not at all. I think he's unplayable at 7,000. I can't play somebody that's only getting so much touches at 7,000. That's way too expensive for me to take that risk. For all that, I'd rather find the extra 1,600 and play Kelsey for all that. I'm sorry. Can't do that. Taysom Hill, he's a gadget player. Like I said, I definitely like Taysom Hill against weaker matchups, but it depends on what they want to do with Taysom Hill. I think he's playable. I played Taysom Hill in a couple. I did. I played him in a couple of public leagues last week. It paid off for me. I just thought he wasn't going to do it through the air. I thought against the Falcons he could do it on the ground, but the Falcons do stink through the air as well. So Taysom Hill stays at 65. He didn't move up too much from where he was last week. Mark Andrews is 64. Definitely a good match against Atlanta. Dallas Goedert off IR. So does that mean, does it hurt? Does it hurt Devontae Smith? Because Devontae Smith was the guy that benefited the last 3-4 weeks with him out. It's a pretty concentrated offense. We'll see. Only time will tell. And like I said, it's definitely one of those that it's good to tell against a good defense better than against a bad defense. What would be natural game flow instead of just an all-around slaughterhouse 42-17 or something like that. After that, you also got Dalton Schultz. He's always been playing. I love Dalton. Athletic, good hands. Tough matchup, but 6,100. Sorry, I forgot to tell you, got it 62. I love Hawkinson again this week. 6,000 even against the Giants. One of my favorite plays. I got to this guy a few times last week in a few lines, and he did me justice. One of the number one goal line targets. Jawan Johnson, 5,900. Cleveland is good against the tight end, but Jawan Johnson is a big target, good hands, and Dalton does look for him inside the 20. So, fantasy-wise, when you're getting looks inside the 20, it's a good thing as a wide receiver. Running back, you're worried about getting the touches inside the 10 and the 5. Wide receivers, touches in general, but when you're getting a lot of touches and looks inside the 20, Jawan Johnson is their guy. Other tight end matchups, as I said before, I like, and Hayden Hurst. He's rocking a Q-tab, but he's feeling great after being out for the last few weeks. I know they would love to have his dependable hands in this aerial passing attack that Cincinnati has been showing the last few weeks. New England does not guard the tight end too well, so Hayden Hurst, with the injury, has dropped down to 5,200. Definitely a good value play. And like I said, Noah Fant, if he could play, the tight ends will be playing a part. The only thing that sucks with Seattle is which tight end to pick. Noah Fant, 5,300. If I scroll down a little bit, where is Disley? Disley's never been around. There's a couple times I picked Disley this year, whatever. It didn't work out, but like I said, they do get Will Dis is all the way down to 4,600. So I'm just giving you those options. Like I said, they use both tight ends. It's just at your own risk who you're gonna pick. That's the thing. Other options. Do I like anything else? Uh, Shot in the dark. Maybe Austin Hooper for the young quarterback. Austin Hooper has a good matchup against Houston. Wide receivers aren't that great for Tennessee, so maybe he finds a little safety blanket in Austin Hooper. Who knows? Let's get to the defenses. We'll talk about the top few, and then, like I said, who I recommend under the 4,000 mark, from 4,000 and lower. Top price defense is San Francisco at home against Washington, 5 G's even. Next is Baltimore at home against Atlanta. Buffalo is third on the road, 48 at Chicago. Tennessee at Houston. I'm not too sure about that because guess what? If you can literally now, if Malik Willis could help the defense rest, move his feet, and if everything is not on Henry and Willis doesn't turn over the ball, I think Houston's a good enough offense to score in midfield. So Tennessee's I'm a little hesitant on. Tennessee's a team that I like. Like I said, I believe in Davis Mills. The coaching staff is trying new things. Tennessee's something that I might want to fade. Yeah, I might want to fade them. Only thing good about Tennessee and DFS is the fact they're at home. You always favor those home defense in this kind of situation. New England 45. You never know what kind of interesting things that might happen there. What do they scheme? Burrow does tend to throw some interceptions. He can turn over the ball, and once again, that's not the best offensive line. For their value, I think New England is more like a 40 because of the opportunity. They're more like a $4,700 defense, but they're marked at 45, even better price. Eagles defense, they're at Dallas, but they could turn Prescott over, 4,400. Kansas City's defense, 4,200. Can they get to Geno? Can they force him to make mistakes? If they're at home, possibly 4,200. There's a couple places, and hey, Cincinnati has been playing well the last few weeks. They're 4,000 even. I like them at 4,000. Also at 4,000, obviously Minshew starts. You're gonna like the Cowboys. You're gonna be interested because Minshew can throw the interception. You're gonna like them. So both the 4,000 defenses do look good. Cincinnati on the road though. Dallas is the one at home. But if you ask me who do I like 3,900 and lower, I'm gonna stick with the hot streak. I'm gonna go with the Lions. Lions are still not over 4,000. They're 39 even. Who else do I like? If Watson is still, he's still going to be showing the rust. But if he could throw a couple of interceptions and New Orleans Saints on the road, even though I don't like the defense, but hey, Watson is going to take a while for Watson to this is like an extended preseason for him. And if I could pick one more, yeah, I guess you could say. Matter of fact, no, not one more, two more, and once again, it's a pair at the same price. You can use Minnesota and Houston. Minnesota at home against the Giants. Houston on the road at Tennessee. Both at 3,600. Punting, who are the punt options? Like literally the punt options. Seattle, KC, I don't really like that. I would like that more if Seattle was at home. I mean, no Lamar. I don't think he's playing. So Atlanta, I guess. I mean, if you want to get a little risky with that, 3,400 and Carolina at home, I guess. But for me, it stops at 36. I mean, can I you move some stuff around? If I'm forced to go under the 36 that I like, I guess I'll go. I guess I don't think I go all the way to the bottom. I think the farthest I go is the next pair, 35 and 34, Carolina, Atlanta. But my favorite spots is Houston and Minnesota. Houston and Minnesota, with the slight edge to Minnesota because they're at home. Houston because they have less to worry about. No Tannehill. But like I said, that running quarterbacks cause fits the defenses. Anyway, that is the end of Week 16 preview Grade A Fantasy. A little bit of record time, you could say. About to get this under 50 minutes. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Good luck this Saturday. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. Just be safe this holiday season. Peace out. Good luck.